Hey Olin, this is a drill that I put together a while ago when I was working with a bunch of high schoolers and stuff like that to teach athletes how to pivot on that right leg. As I had said in the previous video, you want to have that weight on the balls of the feet of your right leg, your power leg, whatever you want to call it. But you don't want to be flat-footed. When it comes to shoes, you can purchase a pair of throwing shoes, but honestly, something that I have that I use, 'cause I compete in the Highland Games and stuff still, I have a pair, they're called the Nike Free Plus. You can get them for like 40 bucks. They have a little bit of a nub on them to grab, but I really like throwing with these. I throw on turf here in my gym. I throw on pavement out in the back of the gym. I will throw on an actual shot put circle. And I've also actually thrown on those Mondo track surfaces into a gravel pit. I've thrown on a bunch of different surfaces and I haven't had a ton of issue with them grabbing too much. So if you don't want to spring for throwing shoes right away, these are a really good starter. I'll try and find some links and send them to you, but I got these about 3 or 4 years ago and I use them for all my throwing and they hold up great. But anyways, the drill. This is the pivot drill, okay? I just bought a bunch of carpet sliders. We use them for all sorts of things at the gym. But all you're gonna do is you're gonna take that carpet slider, place it on the floor, and you're gonna have the athlete just get that right leg on top. And all you're really gonna do is you're not gonna simulate the full throw, but you're just gonna set up like you would, and you're just going to pivot. It's gonna make that pivot a lot easier. It's gonna get that hip activated, and it's gonna turn that leg nice and easy for you. And initiate, get that hip going into the throw. Like I said, you could even start it where you turn and that foot is completely facing 12 o'clock. So you're here, you're set up, pivot, set up, pivot, okay? Use this as kind of a warm-up drill. I like this a lot. I'll bring these a little closer so you can see, but I mean, you can use just about anything for this. You can get a piece of cardboard on turf that'll work, or just a piece of plastic. These work really great. But I definitely recommend you using these as a warm-up drill to kind of just get the thought of pivoting that hip. Couple things to keep in mind though. Make sure you're not leaning off of that leg, otherwise the slider is gonna slip out from underneath you. Keep that weight stacked right up on top of it, and keep the mechanics of the throw that we talked about in the previous video. Loading that right leg, making sure we're pushing and that we're not leaning too far this way after the pivot. Make sure we're keeping that weight on there. You should feel this in your backside over here as you're pivoting on the coaster or slider, whatever you want to call it, okay? So that's drill number 1. It's called the pivot drill. I suggest probably doing about 10 easy controlled reps, maybe 3 times through, just nice and easy. Do 10 reps, take a minute or 2 break, then do another 10 reps, but nice and easy. You don't want to be going too fast on those because that defeats the whole purpose. We want to feel the position. You want to feel the rotation and the pivot in that hip as it starts to kind of turn on and get underneath the body and get ready to push through.